I don't know how long I kneel there, holding my sister's corpse. I haven't just failed to repay my debt. I got my family killed. I can't imagine a more inexcusable failure. I should have killed them sooner. I should have killed those child-abusing bastards the moment I saw them. Damn it, damn it, damn it. Eventually I start to get my senses back, start to actually think again. I fucked up. This is just like Penta. Someone died, again, because I tried to do the right thing, the humane thing, the slow thing. Maybe I'm just too weak to make it work. I don't know. It doesn't matter why. I don't have time for this. It's the same mistake as Penta, but it has the same solution as Penta. I can fix this. I just need to get Angeline's body somewhere safe, to get Penelope to preserve it, and then figure out immortality. Fucking easy, right? I need a sack. Or a blanket. Something to hide the corpse. I head into the shack, a pang of bitter nostalgia hitting me as I find the wads of cloth that once served as my bed. I wrap Angeline's fragile body up, disguising her as a huge wad of rags. It might not fool everyone, but, well, it doesn't really have to. I've seen people carrying around children's corpses before. No one likes to ask why. It's never a fun story. I bet killed by a street thug would be a pretty common answer if people did ask, though. Fuck, 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 fuck. I feel like I might just kill the next damn person I see, so with Angeline in my arms I stomp back towards the Hunters Guild, carefully feeling out the area in front of me so I don't run into anyone. How am I going to break the news to Lynn? To Rowan? How are they going to react? Weren't the Broken Drockens supposed to protect my family in exchange for Lynn working for them? A bit of the rage I feel at myself condenses, focusing in another direction. They are. Lynn said that was the condition. Why would they let this happen? Is it because I missed that idiotic meeting with Sky? I'm a goddamn hunter, they know that. Sometimes I have to leave. Stupid bastards can't take over the city if a bunch of monsters sack it. These dumb fucks can't be that short-sighted, right? Right? So either Lynn and Rowan did something to piss them off or the Drockens are just fucking incompetent. You know what? Fuck it. It doesn't matter why. I'm going to rip their whole organization into shards and corpses. As soon as I make sure Angeline's body is safe, I have to go back to Penelope. She can help. She has to. The return to the Hunters Guild is slow, methodical, and automatic. I barely even think about where my steps are taking me, barely even notice the tears still running down my face. I hate this. I hate myself. Fury and despair boil inside my soul. I can't take it anymore. I'm tired of failure after failure. I'm tired of reacting, waiting, going with the flow, and letting things happen to me. It's those disgusting old habits from my early life rearing their ugly head again, isn't it? I only look at what's in front of me, only consider immediate problems and immediate survival. For everything else, I rely on others. Anyone that steps forward and tries even a little just pushes me around. I never really changed from that powerless orphan girl, in the end. Another thought passes through my mind, unwanted and unbidden. Why do I even care? People die. I've seen the deaths of hundreds of acquaintances, many of them children just like Angeline. I never even knew her that well. I should have, though. Right? That would be the human thing to do. To actually know your fucking family. I don't deserve to be thinking of her as a sister. Then again, I don't think of myself as a human anymore. I used to, but I haven't for a long time. I started getting the feeling something wasn't right ever since I got my talent, and when I hatched. Well, it's obvious now. My soul has fucking tentacles, it isn't even remotely human in the first place. Though my body is, and that's wrong. It's just wrong somehow. I promised Rowan I wouldn't lose my humanity, but it really doesn't seem to be working out well for me. Maybe I never had any in the first place. Oh. I've made it back to the Hunters Guild. I feel for Penelope, finding her in the infirmary along with a few other souls I recognize but lack the mental wherewithal to immediately place. Something grassy? A brown soul that roils with purple fire? A fragmented soul, not yet woken up? The one soul I place immediately is Claretta's. I walked right next to it for the whole trip home, after all. It's an odd soul, fragmented and broken in places, but nowhere near to the degree of Fulvia's shattered mess. Right, that's the unconscious girl's name. Fulvia. Funny, I remember that name but not my own brother's. Anyway, Claretta's soul is strange because it has no color. Most souls seem to have something that feels like a color to me, but hers is all pressure and sound. A soul of music personified, obviously related to her musical metamancy talent that Penelope kept babbling about during the trip. Yet there's something wrong with it, a twisting, fetid feeling like her very spirit is trying to destroy itself. It's a frustrating and uncomfortable experience for my senses, though given recent experiences I now find myself capable of interpreting it. Claretta hates herself. I think she hates her talent, especially, which is pretty weird. I don't think I've ever even heard of someone hating their talent. My idle, distracted musings carry me into the infirmary. Claretta's despair is a pleasant thing to think about when the alternative is the corpse in my arms. I start to put faces and names to the souls I failed to recognize earlier. The grassy one is Penelope's biomancer friend, and the brown and purple fiery one is First Lord Erebus? What's Penelope's fiancé doing here? From the sound of their conversation, that's exactly what Penelope wants to know as well. Not at all acceptable. I barely got an hour of sleep before they woke me up to come down here, and you think you can just drag me away? You shouldn't even be here, Johann. This is my business, not yours. I've only seen Lord Erebus once, so his thin, bird-like features and pale complexion surprise me again. What strikes me this time around, however, something that I didn't really think about too much the last time I saw him, is how much older he is than Penelope. He's probably at least 30 years old, and I'm fairly certain Penelope isn't even 20. All of these thoughts pass through my head with a perfect blandness, a fog over my mind dulling the impact of every impression. The tall man wears a fancy black suit, his words and tone all the perfect picture of politeness. I hardly see the issue of inviting my wife Tubi to dinner on the day of her triumphant return, he answers, unfazed in the face of Penelope's irritation. The man is so clearly used to dealing with her, it almost feels like his soul is rolling its eyes. Well, I regret to inform you that now is not a good time, Johann. In fact, there likely will not be a good time for at least a month. Between dealing with missions, healing the victims of our scouting excursions, investigating the creatures dropped by Hivarok and my own research, it should be obvious that I am too busy for such frivolities. You should be too. Penelope, please. You know I work hard for this city. But a certain degree of occasional relaxation improves my ability to do so, it doesn't lessen it. The same goes for anyone. Besides, these sorts of jobs, are they truly the best use of your abilities? I, and no other, will be the judge of. Penelope cuts off her words, noticing my approach for the first time. Her angry expression melts instantly, shifting to surprise, confusion, and then a deep concern. Her true feelings even match her face. Vita? She prompts, carefully and quietly, as if her words would somehow break me. I brought. I stutter, words failing me completely as I try to think of an excuse. Something about a delivery for her? She can buy corpses legally, right? I hadn't really thought about the fact that other people would be here. Penelope simply walks forward, slowly reaching a hand up and lightly brushing her thumb between my nose and eye, smearing something wet. Oh yeah. I'm still crying. Much of what happens after that is a blur. I find myself pouring tears into the front of Penelope's shirt, clutching the rich fabric desperately when someone finally pries the corpse from my arms. My team arrives at some point, Nora, Bentley and Orville all there to witness me at my lowest. I vaguely recognize the sound of someone singing ring out through the infirmary, Claretta taking over healing duties from a wheelchair to her obvious dismay. Penelope shuffles myself and my team out of the room, holding my sister's corpse in her arms. I want her to give it back. It's mine. It's my failure, though. Didn't I come here to give it to her in the first place? It's so hard to look anyone in the eyes. Penelope's pity, Orville's horror, Bentley's shock and despair, Nora's quiet grief. I hate all of it. I don't want to see the look on anyone's faces, or worse, feel those emotions deep within their souls. I feel crowded. I need space, not that there's anywhere in the city like that. I retreat upstairs instead, collapsing in a ball on my bed as I curl around Roscoe. Where did I even get this damn bird, anyway? I love him so much. The first friend I could rely on. The first thing that was ever mine. I'll fuck up and break him too, someday. I suppose I already did once, when the Mistwatcher killed him. I squeeze my stuffed animal tight, trying to shut off my senses by sheer force of will. Even if I can close my tear-filled eyes, however, the eye of my soul remains eternally open, gazing about the inside of my room with its mostly monochrome sight. Only the souls of Penelope's rats have colored to my inner eye, and it's them I find myself focusing on. Her past subjects all died, but she gathered a new batch from somewhere and has been experimenting on them since well before our last mission. Penelope has apparently gotten quite good at lobotomizing things, and all 4 of her test subjects successfully had the useless parts of their brain removed without issue. Something about them annoys me now. Disturbs me, even. Something about them is so wrong, I want to kill them and take their souls immediately. I try to tear my inner eye away to look at something else, but my senses still feel them regardless. They're just not right. It's like the souls aren't moving as they should. I think I finally see what it is, delving deep to view them at the most detailed level. They're not growing. Other than undead, I've never seen a soul that doesn't. Even the Nora, who rapidly consume their souls outside of a body, just as rapidly increase their size within one. But these rats aren't losing soul size or gaining it. They're just stagnant. This is probably big news. I should get off my bed and go tell her about it. Of course, like the failure I am, I don't move the slightest inch until Nora knocks on the door and lets herself in. Hey, Vita? Sorry. You doing okay? No, I mumble. Right, sorry. Of course not. Look, I hate to bother you, but First Lord Erebus is asking for you? Tell him to fuck off, I snap. There's a pause. No, Nora answers eventually. I will not do that. Oh, right. First Lord Erebus is important. Also he's technically my employer. Somehow this manages to be enough of a push to get my ass out of bed and head downstairs. I'm not even remotely within Penelope's guidelines for how I should look when talking to a First Lord, what with my messy hair, puffy eyes and borrowed clothes from a boy who, while not as tall as my other options, still has the better part of a foot on my height. I'm also still clutching a stuffed crow, but I don't see how that could offend anybody. Miss Vita, Lord Erebus addresses politely when he sees me. My condolences. What do you want? I grumble bluntly. I feel a flash of irritation from the man when he hears my words, but he lets it pass over him and continues as if nothing was ever amiss. If you would be so kind, I'd like you to lead me to the facility you've been working with Penelope in. I'm afraid my future wife has already left without me. I almost say yeah, because she doesn't like you, but a small bit of survival instinct chokes that down into my throat. Whatever, I may as well. I need a distraction anyway. Right, okay. Follow me. I stomp out of the Hunters Guild, Lord Erebus easily keeping pace with his much longer legs. Incidentally, I was wondering, the man says pleasantly, have you ever heard the name Mars before? What kind of random-ass question is that? No, I answer honestly. It doesn't ring a bell. You sure? Didn't I ask you that the first time we met? Why would he ask me if I know some random guy at our interview? No, I'm pretty sure you didn't, Lord Erebus. All right. Never mind, then. The man seems oddly smug about that entire interaction, but I just think he's a huge weirdo. Whatever. As long as he keeps the Templars off my back, I don't really care. I've got way bigger problems and I'm in no condition to be dealing with them now, but one in particular I don't have a choice in. Namely, how the hell am I going to keep this dude out of our blasphemy basement? I didn't expect this Erebus guy to be so hands-on, and we definitely don't want him sinking his teeth into our animancy pie. We're almost to the research building. How am I supposed to? I stop walking for a second, the last thing I want to feel right now pinging on my senses. No, not now. I can't do this yet. Why does she have to be here? How did she find me? What's Lynn doing heading my way? Miss Vita? A calm voice asks. Miss Vita, you've stopped walking. I glance up at Lord Erebus's face, blinking in shock. Right, yeah, I was leading him to a place I don't want him to go, like some kind of fucking moron. Lynn is rapidly approaching us, but before she gets in sight she stops, waiting around a corner. She must know I know she's there. Maybe she wants to talk to me in private. Which, I don't want, because I got her daughter fucking killed. Miss Vita? Lord Erebus prompts again. Are you quite alright? I feel my jaw open a bit, the haze over my mind roiling slightly at the frankly moronic audacity of the question. Why the fuck, I ask First Lord Johann Erebus, would you think that I'm alright? He seems a bit shocked at that response. I do not care. Did you not just watch me carry my sister's corpse into the room with you? Are you a fucking idiot? Did that just not register? He narrows his eyes a little, less than amused by my insults. I must admit, I never expected someone personally recommended by my fiancé to be so childish. I understand and sympathize with your grief, young lady, but that is no reason to take your hostilities out on me. Isn't it? I snap, any wisdom in my head about not pissing off a First Lord Thor ugly scrubbed away. If people like you were halfway fucking competent, the people of this city, my family, wouldn't be surrounded by gangs and death and rot. You fucking said yourself you don't need me to lead you to this damn place, but you're making me do it anyway, while I'm grieving, just because you feel like you fucking can. I'm not the childish one here. You are standing in the street and screaming at me while holding a stuffed animal, he calmly points out. Leave. Roscoe. Out of this, I hiss, feeling my face scrunch up into a death glare. I can kill him too. I wonder if Penelope would prefer a revenant husband over this fucking piece of work? I bet she probably would. Erebus just stares at me like I'm some kind of frustrating puzzle for a moment before bowing his head with unexpected politeness. Apologies. I've imposed upon you during a time of extreme stress. I, personally, like to throw myself into work when I grieve, but this is clearly not your way. Out of respect for your situation, I will continue my business with you at another time. Of course, I can tell he's actually fairly furious, but I am currently incapable of giving a shit. He turns and departs without another word. Good riddance. The last thing Penelope and I need is someone poking their nose into our business. I'll deal with him later. Right now, I still have to face my mum. She emerges soon after Lord Erebus walks off, worry in her features, and yet there's a soft smile on her face. A smile. Looking at it claws my heart to shreds. I have to turn away. I can feel her pain, sharp and terrible, yet she's still smiling for me. Vita, Lynn greets softly. Lynn, I answer back. I don't deserve to call her mum. I heard what happened. From the kids. She moves forward, arms opening to hug me. To hug me. A step backwards. Sorry, I whisper. I'm sorry. It wasn't your fault, Lynn answers. But she's wrong. I don't want to hear it. Follow me, I manage to stutter. Penelope has her. Her eyes go wide, hope entering her soul. Your biomancer friend? I wince. She's just preserving the body, I clarify, choking up a little. Damn it, don't cry again. It's not. Sorry. I'm sorry. I step away, hurrying towards the facility. It's okay if Lynn visits, I've already told her about it anyway and she knows a thing or two about subtlety. And well, it's where Angeline's body is. I couldn't bear to keep her out. Together we head inside, heading down into the basement as I feel the revenants scattering to their hiding spots. Penelope is there as well, unperturbed by our arrival. I open the lower door, walking in past the metal-link runes that block every magical sense but my own from detecting this place. Penelope is there, casting her spells on a tiny, naked body. Angeline's shattered, twisted neck has been moved back into place, her body seeming almost peaceful. If not for the fact that I can tell it's a soulless husk, I may have thought her asleep. Penelope looks up at us as we enter, raising a slight eyebrow. Vita. And Miss Lynn. Welcome. Sorry, but I'm not quite done. You're welcome to watch, or not. Lynn steps forward, the agony in her soul becoming apparent on her features for the first time. She can't keep her brave face in front of the body, tears starting to well in her eyes. Oh, Angeline, she whispers, holding the corpse by the hand. My brave little Angeline. I'm so sorry. I should have been there. I should have seen it. Penelope mutters, staring at my mother with an awkwardness beyond anything I've ever seen in a normally composed woman. I'm terribly sorry, truly, but the work I'm doing is somewhat time-sensitive and I need you to, let go of the body. Oh. Of course. Lynn lets go and steps away, wiping her tears with a gloved hand. What, are are you doing, exactly? Penelope frowns, turning her attention back to the corpse. Well, that should be obvious, shouldn't it? Vita, I assume you have her soul? Aye. Yeah, I do, I confirm. Whole and intact. Instinctively I move a hand up to my lower sternum, feeling at the skin over which Angeline's soul floats inside me, right above my own. Then we're going to bring her back, of course, Penelope finishes plainly. Immortality research, remember? I take a step away. Penelope, we can't do that yet. Sure we can, she answers nonchalantly. You've done it 3 times already. No, I mean, I can bring her back as an undead, sure. But I'll have to fuck with her soul. She'll be forced to love me, and, she's your sister, Lynn says softly. She already loves you. She'll be dead. I counter. An undead servant. She won't ever grow up, she won't even be able to leave this stupid basement. We can do better. Penelope, weren't we going to learn to bring people back to life? Hey now, being dead isn't so bad. Vitamin drops down from her hiding place in the ceiling, grinning with satisfaction as Lynn and Penelope both jump a little at her sudden appearance. Hey Mom. Hey Grandma. Vitamin. Lynn guesses, quickly recovering from her shock. That would be me. My zombie clone parasite daughter confirms. It does get a bit cramped down here in the basement, but the Doras and I are working on that. You two can come out, by the way. Grandma won't bite. I'm not a Dora anymore, Margareta complains, strolling in from the fridge area. She points at Angeline's corpse. Is that my new body? I'll take it, but I was hoping for something less small. It isn't, and you will not let anything bad happen to it, I growl at her. She snaps to attention and nods fervently. What's Vitamin talking about? You're working on a way to leave here safely? Since we have so much excess metal, we can adapt the same protections used on the building itself into tattoos, Theodora explains, also entering the room. Hypothetically it should let us walk around safely right under a Templar's nose, as long as no one checks for a pulse. I was hoping for permission to test it out first, if that's okay, Mom, Vitamin continues. I'm the only one that's not helping much by being cooped up in here, and I'm fast enough to run away and hide if things go badly. Okay, that's fine, I huff, but Angeline is still dead, and I'd still prefer to wait until we can make her alive again rather than irrevocably fuck up her soul. Theodora, back me up on this. I internally wince as I realize I worded that as an order, but the tattooed woman seems perfectly happy following it. Subjecting a child to mind-altering magic and forcing her into an eternity of servitude would be one of the most horrific breaches of human decency I can imagine. Rude, Vitamin comments, pulling a bug out of her ear and squishing it between her fingers. The point is, I wholeheartedly agree with Vita. We should continue our research while she keeps the human souls inside her safe. I recognize the desire to see the people you love again as soon as possible, but it would be better to wait. She may lose a few years in the interim, but she'll at least still be herself when she comes out the other side. We digest that in silence for a while, Lynn nodding slowly as tears drip silently down her cheeks. I squeeze Roscoe tighter, at least until Vitamin starts making grabby hands at me. After a moment's hesitation, I give her my bird friend and pick her up instead, letting me hug both of them at once. Her body is cold, but her soul is wonderful. So comforting. So safe. She'll never, ever hurt me. I disagree completely, Penelope says suddenly. A few years? Really? You think we're going to figure out how to bring the dead back to life in a few years? Laughable. If we wait, Angeline will lose decades of her life, at the least. We've hit nothing but problems on this so far, and you know it. If we wait until we figure everything out, this girl would be coming back unchanged to a world where everyone she knows and loves is completely different, having moved on without her. That seems like a far crueler fate to me. Oh please, Theodora counters, rolling her eyes. You just want another test subject. Theodora, I'm not that callous, Penelope snaps, genuinely offended. My point stands regardless of my alleged motivations anyway. I scowl. What sort of problems have you been having? I ask. Can I help out here more? Penelope shakes her head. Ultimately, our problem is that while we can reverse engineer some of what you do, we're still missing far, far too much. The biggest one is that your soul sight isn't a spell, so we can't copy it to see what you see. So even if we learn how to modify souls, we'd have no way of determining whether anything we do is working. We're completely blind on the animancy front, and the biomancy front is. Well, let's just say there are reasons no one on Verdantop has figured it out before. We need more information on animancy. I nod, mind and emotions churning. The bubbling fury from before rises to the surface again as my gaze locks on Angeline's corpse. Then we keep waiting for now, while we get more information on animancy, I say. Penelope huffs. And how are we going to magically manifest a better understanding of animancy? You don't even know how your own talents work. I scowl, eyes hard. It's so simple. Everything fits together now. My path to setting things right, my path to protecting my family, and my path to getting stronger. They're all the same. Easy. I'll murder Capita, bring her back as a revenant, and make her tell us everything she knows. There's a short second of silence as Lynn's breath catches, the rest of the room slowly picking up on the frank seriousness of my declaration. Vita, if you go after Capita, the whole of the broken Drockants will come after us, Lynn warns. Good, I growl, the sight of my sister's snapped neck flashing in my memory. The Drockants got away with abuse only on the promise that my family would be safe. That was the deal. That was their one responsibility. Their one reason to be more than fucking food. But no, they can't even do that. They can't even keep people from beating the shit out of children. They're monsters, every last one, and I eat monsters. Let them come. I'm going to kill them too. All of them. Another silence answers me, but I'm convinced. I'm fucking tired of letting myself and my family get walked over. I won't stand for it. Not a single second longer. Lynn clears her throat. Vita. You realize I'm technically a member of the Broken Drockants, right? I blink, my rage choking to a painful stop like half-vomited stomach acid. Well, I mean, obviously I didn't mean you. You're not a member because you want to be. Lynn has the audacity to grin a little. So, are you going to ask every single member of the Drockants if they wanted to be one before killing them, or? Yes, this seems more than a little extreme, Penelope chimes in. Where did that even come from? It makes for quite the dramatic declaration, but perhaps, lower the scope of your vengeance a tad? A blush blooms on my cheeks. Vitamin, the incorrigible rascal, starts to laugh. Well, I think it's a good idea. She agrees happily. Let's slaughter the bastards. It'll be feel-good fun. Yes, I don't really know these Broken Drockants at all, but they sound terrible, Margareta concurs. I imagine the city would be better off without them. Theodora opens her mouth to comment, then closes it, looking away. I sigh, almost emboldened by their support, but... No, Lynn and Penelope are right, I admit. Most people in the Drockants aren't responsible for the nasty stuff. There's probably a bunch of victims like my family. Oh, I suppose that makes sense, Margaret agrees again, because of course she does. Vitamin also shrugs, clearly fine with this too. Theodora relaxes, however, her soul no longer warring with itself on whether to agree with me. It's her that reminded me, the support is fake. Their opinions are fake, because I twisted them. I don't know what to do about it. Should I stop listening to them, since they'll just echo me? Or is ignoring their opinions because of that just going to dehumanize them even more? We should at least kill Capita and Sky, though, I say. They've been fucking us and everyone else, and we've just been sitting back and letting them. Screw that, Lynn says. Vita, the reason I haven't killed the Drockants already is that Sky will fucking annihilate us if we try. Then I'll get stronger first, I counter. It's not like we have to attack today, as much as I'd like to. What all can he do? He? You mean Sky? Lynn asks with confusion. The boss is a fucking crazy kineticist, I think. Talent, not learned. Really short range, at least I think so, don't quote me on that, but with stupid power and speed. Can grab and move things nearby. Attacks get veered away and just don't hit. And if you get close, smash. Dead. Sounds like a nightmare for me or Lynn to fight. Although, if I'm strong enough to yank his soul out, I doubt a kineticist can divert my tentacles. Considering his soul size, though, I'll need to eat a lot. In which case, I know exactly what to do. We talk and plan for a while. The aching in my chest doesn't go away, not with Angeline's soul bobbing around inside, but Lynn. She seems so sure that I can help. That I can fix my horrible fuck up. She's not mad at me at all. It's horrible. Painful. Wrong. She shouldn't be blaming herself for my failure. But at the same time, I can't take her hope away from her. I have to live up to it. I have to make everything right. When I leave, I immediately make my way back to the Hunters Guild. My armor and weapons have been returned, placed where I normally put them while I sleep. I gratefully don them, go downstairs to eat as much as I can manage, and then head for the gates. I leave Skyhope, on my own, without a word to anyone, and head straight for the forest. I'm hungry, and I'm done holding back.